Many times in my sessions with people tell me, I think I'm crazy. All of a sudden, all of my spirituality, all of my learning went out the window. Something happened. Things changed. I think I'm going crazy. And then they really think they're crazy when I say to them, that's great. Rabbi, I just said I'm going crazy. What do you mean it's great? In conversation number 77, Rabbi Nachman gives us a glimpse into his profound understanding of the human psyche, and it says that every single person is a composite of many, many different factions. He's got inside of him the whole ununited nations, and often these factions are in strife with one another. Only because a person is among other people and he's taking a side does it cover over his inner turmoil. But if a person would sit alone in the forest, Rabbi Nachman tells us a person could literally go crazy. And that's a real wonder. Because isn't Rabbi Nachman the great tzaddik that tells all of his followers that every day a person should spend time alone and do his bodedus in order to draw himself closer to Hashem? Does Rabbi Nachman want us to go crazy? Yup, it's part of the process. If you don't feel like you're crazy, you are obviously not in the process. You're not aware. You must be totally identified with your crazy part and you don't feel crazy. It's only when a person starts to make the clarification, just like the lots of the two goats, when the Kohen stands there with two goats that are identical in appearance, in height. On Yom Kippur, does a person begin to become conscious and start the clarification process of coming close to Hashem? Feeling crazy is one thing, but what if you had a dream? And an angel, with wings. Angels fly. You know why they fly? Because they take themselves lightly. But this angel is very serious. He's the angel of truth. And he says, I'm the angel of truth. And on the first day of creation, I told God not to create you because I knew you were going to sin. Now I want you to jump off the cliff. What's the proper response to this angel? Let's learn together what Rabbi Nosson says about the service of Yom Kippur in the laws of loans and interest number 5. In this teaching, Rabbi Nosson talks about the yearly prosecution of the angel of truth that said, don't create man, he's full of lies. Don't create man, he's a sinner. That's what we call relative truth. And often a person identifies with this angelic relative truth because there's truth to it. The angels are extremely simple beings. They're programmed not just for serving God. Each and every angel has only one mission in his life. He's extremely focused, extremely motivated. He can only understand doing the will of God. To an angel, man is crazy. Says Rabbi Nosson that the service of Yom Kippur, through which Hashem forgives the sins of the Jewish people for the whole entire year, it's only through the absolute pure truth of Hashem himself. That's impossible for normal people to perceive, only the greatest of tzaddikim. Because the simple truth, the truth of the angels, there's no hope for a transgressor. Every year, there's a new prosecution. And the angel of truth says, don't create man. According to their simple truth, they're right. They knew that man would transgress. But, lo yadu, once again, the famous words, they didn't know. Very reminiscent of all the times in this series we've talked about. They didn't know where Moshe was, who represents Das. They didn't know where Moshe was buried. They didn't know that there was a Mordechai in the world. These angels didn't know the absolute truth, the mercy of Hashem. This is the real truth of Hashem that's impossible to perceive. And it's from this place that Hashem atones the sins of the Jewish people on Yom Kippur. And this is the aspect of the two goats, that they were identical in the way they looked, identical in their height, but nevertheless there was a necessity for a birur, a clarification to separate them. One went to Hashem and the other went off the cliff, the scapegoat. And in order to do this, explains Rabbi Nosson, that they have to be lifted up to a place called before creation. And this was done only by a lot. For this is impossible to do this clarification in truth when there's any residue of falsehood. Only Hashem himself can do this clarification. To this exalted level of truth, which is the aspect of Holy of Holies, it's impossible to go into only on Yom Kippur and only through this holy service. And to draw down atonement for transgression from this absolute truth of the mercy of God, which is the aspect of Rav Chesed, reminiscent of the gematria of Mordechai, infinite loving kindness. When the Kohen goes in the Holy of Holies, the verse said, no man shall be in the tent of meeting. The Medrash asks an amazing thing. Wait a second, isn't the Kohen himself an ish, a man? Says the pre-tzaddik an amazing thing. The Kohen at that exalted moment is as if he's not a man. The place, the time, and the man are on such an exalted level that it's an aspect of lo yadu'u. It's beyond perception. How does it work? You're talking here about transgressing against Hashem. This is the thrust of what Reb Nosson is teaching us, that it's all part of the cosmic plan, even the things that you don't like, even the things that happen to you that shouldn't have happened to you, and even, God forbid, your own transgressions, because it's all part of a process of becoming. And when it gets really bad, and you really feel like you're crazy, that's the beginning of your rectification. Because now you are making a clarification. This is the secret of all sacrifices. The spirit of man, the true you, is elevated. And the spirit of animal, which is that hairy part of you, the Ish Belial that the Zohar says in Parshas Embark, goes to Seirah. He goes off the cliff. He's the scapegoat. When the angel of truth tells you to jump off the cliff, you say to him, no, we're sending the scapegoat off the cliff. I'm going straight to God because I'm good. My true nature is holy, healthy, and happy. And that's the secret of Yom Kippur. That's the secret of the Day of Atonement.